Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NTD Tonight. I'm David Zhang. Here is a preview of some of today's top stories. A pro-life activist who free-climbed the Sphere in Las Vegas faces damage charges of $100,000. The climber spoke with NTD and said that the charges are not true. A California father pleads guilty to starting a forest fire in 2020. The massive blaze killed one firefighter and injured a dozen others. Local California officials want to change a controversial law that they say led to increased crime. More on the push for reforms. First up, a man who was arrested for free climbing the Sphere in Las Vegas last week appeared in court today. He said he did it to raise money for a homeless pregnant woman. He now faces damage allegations of $100,000. However, the climber told NTD's Jason Blair that the allegations are false.
Mason Deschamps, who also goes by Pro-Life Spider-Man, free climbed the Sphere on the Las Vegas Strip last Wednesday.
We are doing this today to raise money for a mother named Isabel. She is homeless and pregnant and needs help, guys.
When he got to the top, he was taken into police custody. The Las Vegas police posted on X, quote, "The individual has been taken into custody without further incident." Some of his friends on the ground near the Sphere were arrested as well. 3 of them appeared in court on Thursday. A judge ruled they could be released but needed to stay out of the Strip corridor and not be in contact with Deschamps while the case is pending. Deschamps, however, faces multiple charges, including destroying property greater than $5,000 and conspiracy to destroy private property. The police reported that Sphere officials said they estimate there was about $100,000 in damage done during the climb.
That I'm very upset with the way the situation was handled and that no crimes were committed.
Deschamps appeared in court on Monday and is being represented by former Nevada governor candidate Joy Gilbert. Despite the legal battle, Deschamps is still optimistic about reaching the goal he set out to do with the feat.
Sphere climb was very successful for one reason, and that's because we were able to save a baby and help out Isabel, who is homeless. She will now be able to give life to her child and put a roof over her head.
Deschamps has climbed numerous other buildings in the U.S. for pro-life causes, such as the New York Times building in New York City and the Salesforce Tower in San Francisco. Jason Blair, NTD News.
Now let's take a look at other top headlines. People are now reacting to Trump's remarks about NATO at a rally on Saturday, suggesting the U.S. might not protect allies who aren't meeting the alliance's spending goals. NATO members are supposed to contribute 2% of their GDP to defense, but many don't meet that target.
One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
Republican presidential candidate and Trump rival Nikki Haley reacting.
I dealt with Russia every single day at the United Nations. Putin kills his opponents. He invades free countries. This is not someone you ever want to pal around with, and you certainly don't want to give them the right to invade a friend.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie also weighed in. He called Trump a national security risk. Republican Senator Marco Rubio defended the former president yesterday.
Donald Trump was president, and he didn't pull us out of NATO. In fact, American troops were stationed throughout Europe, as they are today. They were then as well. But he's telling a story, and frankly, look, Donald Trump is not a member of the Council of Foreign Relations. He doesn't talk like a traditional politician. And we've already been through this now. You'd think people had figured it out by now.
Rubio said Trump was describing how, as president, he used the leverage to get countries to step up and become more active in NATO. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has been transferred to the critical care unit after being taken to the hospital on Sunday. The Pentagon says he is being treated for symptoms suggesting an emergent bladder issue. It's not clear how long Austin will remain hospitalized at the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. The defense secretary has transferred his duties to his deputy, according to Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder. Ryder also said the White House and members of Congress have been notified of Austin's condition. Austin was criticized last month for failing to disclose a cancer diagnosis and subsequent hospitalizations, including to President Biden. 2 off-duty officers in Houston, Texas, took down an active shooter yesterday at Pastor Joel Osteen's Megachurch. Police said the shooter entered the church armed with a long rifle accompanied by a small child. Authorities said a woman in her early 30s entered the Lakewood Church, which has a capacity of more than 16,000, and began firing shortly before 2 p.m. local time on Sunday.
She was armed with a long rifle and a trench coat with a backpack, accompanied by a small child, approximately 4 to 5 years old. Once she entered, at some point she began to fire.
Houston Police Chief Troy Finner said 2 off-duty officers present killed the shooter before she could kill anyone inside the church, which was preparing to hold a service. A man in his 50s sustained a non-critical leg injury and was being treated at a local hospital. The identity of the shooter has not yet been released. Police said she claimed to have a bomb and sprayed an unknown substance on the ground. No explosives were found upon searching her backpack and her car. Eyewitnesses described hearing gunfire and watching people flee the church auditorium.
They were repetitive, boom, 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 and I yelled, "Mom!" Police are investigating the motive behind the attack. Police have identified the 15-year-old illegal immigrant who allegedly shot a tourist in Times Square last week. Jesus Figueroa from Venezuela is being charged as an adult. He's also accused of firing at a police officer while fleeing. The teen is also a suspect in an armed robbery in the Bronx and a separate shooting in Times Square last month. Police say the shooter and 2 teenage classmates were shoplifting a jacket from a store. They were confronted by a security guard who asked to see a receipt. When the trio couldn't produce one, the guard took back the merchandise. That's when the teenager allegedly pulled out a .45 caliber handgun and fired at her. The bullet missed the worker but grazed the 38-year-old tourist in line to buy a pair of sneakers. A California couple who staged a gender reveal photo shoot and sparked a deadly wildfire in 2020 has pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter. Authorities say the smoke bomb device used was illegal.
Prosecutors said on Friday a man pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter for a family gender reveal photo shoot that sparked the El Dorado fire, killing a firefighter and injuring 13 other people. The El Dorado fire erupted in September 2020 when Refugio Jimenez Jr. and Angelina Jimenez set off a smoke-generating pyrotechnic at El Dorado Ranch Park at the foot of the San Bernardino Mountains. Sparks turned into a blaze and strong winds pushed the fire through federal forest land. On Friday, the San Bernardino County District Attorney announced that Refugio Jimenez Jr. pleaded guilty to 1 count of involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of recklessly causing a fire to an inhabited structure. He will be taken into custody on February 23rd for a year in jail and 200 hours of community service. Angelina Jimenez pleaded guilty to 3 misdemeanor counts of recklessly causing fire to property of another. She was sentenced to 400 hours of community service. The couple was also ordered to pay over $1.7 million in restitution. 3 years after the fire, the U.S. Forest Service filed a lawsuit against the pyrotechnics device manufacturers and the couple. The lawsuit alleged that the smoke bombs used were illegal in California and known to be defective.
Mayors rethink support for California's Proposition 47, which lowers the charges for some felonies to misdemeanors, amidst the growing concern over its unintended consequences of rampant retail thefts. The local push for reform gains momentum ahead of the November 2024 ballot. NTD's Stephanie Secy reports.
Local California leaders, including mayors from San Francisco and San Jose, have shifted their support for Prop 47, a measure aimed at reducing prison overcrowding. Initially approved in 2014, Prop 47 reclassified certain offenses related to theft and drugs as misdemeanors.
Drug addicts and homeless people are everywhere. This is indeed a long-awaited initiative. It is supported by over 70% of the respondents in a recent survey.
San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan and San Francisco Mayor London Breed now advocate for reform, expressing concerns about unintended consequences. The proposed changes include reclassifying theft with prior convictions as a felony and mandating mental health and addiction services for felony charges.
And the reason we're here from all sides is because Proposition 47, which was passed in 2014, simply isn't working as it was intended. And for that reason, we have crises in our state that need to be addressed through an amendment, through a fix.
It is inescapable. We have a very, very serious problem with homelessness, with drug addiction, and with property crimes in the state of California. And we must reform Prop 47.
Despite Prop 47's initial goal to reduce incarceration, homelessness has increased. Reform supporters argue for data-driven policies, while critics highlight a rise in retail theft without perceived threat of punishment. Stephanie Secy, NTD News.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. A climber found dead in the Southern California mountains. More on where and how she was found. Super Bowl Sunday saw an intense matchup between the Chiefs and 49ers. We'll recap the highlights and game-winning moment. Kobe Bryant fans caught a glimpse of a new statue of the basketball star. It's one of the 3 statues coming to the Crypto.com arena. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight. Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Zhang. The body of a hiker reported missing on a Southern California mountain last week has been located and recovered. NTD's Christina Corona had more on the story.
Li Fei Huang, a 22-year-old resident of El Monte, was last seen on February 4th while venturing on a solo hike around 2 p.m. Crews conducted searches in the area throughout the week, but were forced to retreat due to the increasingly unsafe conditions after the atmospheric river storm hit the area. A citizen notified the U.S. Forest Service Saturday, claiming to have sighted Huang from a drone. Deputies and rescue teams were dispatched to reach the reported location, but were unsuccessful due to the unsafe weather conditions. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department confirmed that it wasn't until 7:45 a.m. Sunday when a Sheriff's Department air rescue aircraft retrieved Huang's body from the site. The cause of Huang's death has not been immediately disclosed. Christina Corona, NTD News, California.
Another helicopter crash in California over the weekend. Among those who died was the CEO of one of Nigeria's largest banks. Here's what officials are saying.
6 people, including chief executive of one of Nigeria's largest lenders, were killed in a helicopter crash in Southern California. According to the National Transportation and Safety Board, or NTSB, 6 people were on board the helicopter when it crashed around 10 p.m. near Halloran Springs, California on Friday. They were headed to Boulder City, Nevada.
The crew consisted of a pilot in command and a safety pilot. The accident flight was operated by Orbic Air LLC as a Part 135 charter flight. Witness reports of the weather conditions at the time of the accident suggest rain and a wintry mix.
In a post on X, the Director General of the World Trade Organization confirmed that one of the 6 passengers was Access Bank Group CEO Herbert Wigway. His wife and son were among those who died in the crash. The bank posted on X, his legacy of excellence and compassion will continue to inspire us all. The Nigerian Exchange Group's former chairman was also on board. The NTSB added the helicopter was not equipped with a cockpit voice or flight data recorders, since it was not required to have them. Eyewitness reports said there was a mix of rain and wintry conditions at the time of the accident. The investigation is ongoing.
Seismic activities strikes near El Centro, California. A series of earthquakes, including a 4.8 magnitude, rattled the region. NTD's Stephanie Secy reports.
On Monday, a series of earthquakes occurred near El Centro, the largest being a 4.8 magnitude just before midnight, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. The significant earthquake happened half a mile northwest of El Centro at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. It struck 3.6 miles south of Imperial and 9 miles northwest of Calexico with a depth of around 10 miles. Throughout the night and early morning, several aftershocks followed, including a 3.5 magnitude quake at 6:15 a.m., a 3.4 magnitude quake at 6:04 a.m., and a 3.0 magnitude aftershock at 3:33 a.m. In total, there were 16 earthquakes reported near El Centro and Imperial since midnight. There have been no reports of injuries or damage. Stephanie Secy, NTD News.
Shifting to sports, the Kansas City Chiefs, led by Mahomes, Kelce, and Coach Reid, just secured their 3rd Super Bowl with a thrilling overtime victory against the 49ers. Carlos Reyes has more on the story.
In a thrilling contest that will be remembered in football history, the Kansas City Chiefs, led by Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Coach Andy Reid, solidified their dynasty status with a hard-fought 25-22 victory against the San Francisco 49ers. The game held in Las Vegas highlighted the Chiefs' resilience and their ability to make crucial plays when it matters most. Mahomes, renowned for his comeback abilities, played a key role in the victory, facing a 22-19 deficit in overtime. He executed an important 8-yard run on 4th and 1, extending the drive and eventually connecting with McCole Hardman for a 3-yard touchdown pass. This performance earned Mahomes his 3rd Super Bowl MVP award, placing him among a select group of quarterbacks with 3 Super Bowl victories. Coach Andy Reid's strategic acumen was evident throughout the season, guiding the Chiefs through challenges. Entering the playoffs as the AFC's number 3 seed, the Chiefs faced adversity but embraced the underdog role, showcasing resilience and determination along the way. The game hosted in Las Vegas was marked by intense moments and critical plays. Mahomes' 16-yard touchdown pass to Marquez Valdez-Scantling capitalized on a special teams blunder by the 49ers, swung the momentum in favor of the Chiefs. The 4th quarter and overtime showcased the resilience of both teams, with the Chiefs ultimately emerging victorious. As confetti fell at Allegiant Stadium, the Chiefs celebrated their 3rd title in 5 years. The burning question now is whether they can turn their aspirations of a three-peat into reality, solidifying their legacy amongst the NFL's greatest franchises. Football enthusiasts eagerly await the next chapter in the Kansas City Chiefs' remarkable journey. Carlos Reyes, NTD News.
Kobe Bryant fans have filled the streets of downtown Los Angeles to catch the first glimpse of a striking new statue of the basketball star outside the Crypto.com arena. NTD's Christina Corona has more from Los Angeles.
Kobe, 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 Kobe.
Lakers fans gathered outside Crypto.com arena Friday to celebrate the official public opening of Kobe Bryant's bronze statue, which is now on display for fans to view up close. The statue captures the Laker legend pointing to the sky in one of his most iconic moments after scoring a career-high 81 points wearing the number 8 jersey.
This was great, you know what I'm saying? When he scored the 81 points, he pointed to the sky for his grandpa. Like, the bottom part is awesome too. It has a whole bunch of little video with a QR code attached to score every single of the 81 points. You can see on there, brother. It's a good statue.
Bryant's widow, Vanessa Bryant, revealed plans Thursday that 3 Kobe statues will be displayed outside of the arena, one featuring him in his number 8 jersey, another in his number 24 jersey, and a third alongside his daughter Gianna.
It makes me just want to just drive home and just play basketball for like 5 hours.
For me, I grew up watching this guy, and I became a big, Kobe fan. made me a fan of basketball overall. Kept watching it, and for me, it's very it's big to me because he's one of my favorite players of all time, and I think he's one of the greatest players of all time as well.
Bryant now stands alongside Lakers legends Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Chick Hearn, and his longtime teammate Shaquille O'Neal, who are all honored with statues at Star Plaza outside the Crypto.com arena. Christina Corona, NTD News, California.
Stay tuned for China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer coming up next. In more China news, President Biden's campaign posting a video on TikTok to attract young voters. This comes as lawmakers on both sides of the aisle trying to kick the Chinese-owned app out of the United States. More details coming tonight at 9:30 on NTD's China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer. And that's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.